Formula One fans are creating drama right now because there's not enough real drama to talk about. And the biggest one I keep seeing everywhere is that Max Verstappen is going to leave Red Bull Racing in 2027, join Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team, and replace George Russell, even if he wins the championship. And I'm being honest, I don't buy it at all. Right now, the Formula One community feels like it's in a weird place. We're between race weekends where there's not a lot of chaos, not a lot of controversy going on. So naturally, people start creating their own narratives. And the biggest one floating around right now is the idea that Mercedes is just waiting to drop everything for Max Verstappen in 2027. But when you actually think about it logically, it doesn't make much sense. So let's break it down. The rumor goes like this. Max Verstappen isn't happy with Red Bull Racing. He doesn't like the car. He doesn't like the new regulations. And because of that, he could leave, and Mercedes is a destination in 2027, which would mean George Russell is out of a seat at Mercedes. And I've seen creators go as far as saying, even if George wins the World Driver Championship this year, Toto would still replace him. And that's where I completely disagree. And let's start with Max. We all know who Max Verstappen is. Four-time world champion, once-in-a-generation talent, one of those most dominant drivers we've ever seen in Formula One. But right now, Red Bull is in a weird spot. The car isn't dominant. The regulations have changed, and Max has been very open and vocal about not liking how these cars feel, especially with the new battery systems. Basically being more about managing systems than about racing and pushing the car to its limit. So yes, it's understandable that Max is frustrated. It makes sense. But here's the thing people aren't thinking about though. Why would Max leave a team that was built entirely around him to go to a team where it won't be? At Red Bull, everything has been tailored to Max, allegedly. The car, the strategy, the environment in and outside the garage, all been centered around him. Now compare that to Mercedes. Mercedes doesn't operate like that. Toto Wolff runs a very structured team-first environment, and more importantly, they already have their future. Andrea Kimi Antonelli. There is no world where Mercedes sacrifices their long-term development of Antonelli just to bring in Max Verstappen and center everything around him. That's not how they operate. So the real question is, would Max even want to go into a system where he's not the center of everything? I don't think so. Personally, I wouldn't. But then there's George Russell. I think people are massively understanding how good George actually is. Let's not forget, he's a Formula 2 champion, took a Williams car to the podium, beat Lewis Hamilton 2 out of the 3 seasons as a teammate. Let's not forget about that. And now he's leading the World Driver Championship in 2026, but somehow people are acting like his seat isn't secure. That doesn't make sense to me at all. If George and Kimi are delivering results like they finished first in the Constructors Championship, why would Mercedes blow that up? And then there's also something else that nobody talks about enough, is that the money involved. Max Verstappen is significantly more expensive than George Russell. So if Mercedes is already getting results from George, Kimi, why would they pay more for the same results, for the same outcome? That's just bad business, and it doesn't make sense. And this brings me to the even bigger issue that the Formula One community right now is creating narratives because there's nothing else to talk about. Let's be honest. It's not race weekend, no major controversy. So what happens in the F1 community? We have to start bringing up rumors, bring up transfer rumors, create our own driver drama, hypothetical scenarios to get views and make it interesting. And honestly, it gets old fast. But at the end of the day, Max Verstappen staying at Red Bull makes more sense. George Russell staying at Mercedes makes more sense. And Kimi Antonelli being the future of that team, like he's being set up to be right now, makes the most sense. Not everything needs to be a massive driver shakeup. But at the end of the day, if you've made it this far, it probably means you've been enjoying the discussion. So don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Formula One content here on Podium Pitlane. And let me know in the comments, would you replace George Russell with Max Verstappen? Because I'm interested to hear your thoughts. I think it could go 50-50. But anyways, don't forget that it's always a great day to be a Formula One fan.